So, guys, SweeneyTV, Sunday evening again. Sean Swiss Sweeney, Sweeney HQ. And we are now live on the YouTube. I am just waiting for Raymond to come on. We have Raymond Simons of the Scottish Barbers Association. And I'm just going to admit him. So there's Raymond now. And
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Ray, can you hear me?
Yeah, clearly.
Okay, really good. Okay, buddy.
Yeah,
just check it with the.
Your pictures are a wee misty. Yeah, wee white.
Well, bear with me a second. It could be the lighting.
That's better.
There you go. Perfect. Right. SweeneyTV, Sean Swiss Sweeney, Sweeney HQ. It's Sunday. We've got Raymond Simons on, Scottish Barbers Association, and the Barber Post. How are you, Ray?
Fantastic. Bored. Not everybody else.
Okay, Ray, going into my first question. How are you and how have you been during the lockdown since you've been closed and the last time we spoke on SweeneyTV?
How have I been? I've actually been no bad. I've been busy around about the house, so I've been painting, decorating, fixing odd jobs, the usual, everybody else probably. But now running out of things to do, so you can only clean a house so much so that you end up cleaning the polish off the polish. But apart from that, I'm fine, mate, honestly.
Okay. So obviously we've just been recently closed down again just before Christmas. Give us the situation up in Scotland, Ray, because a lot of people we had a different experience in Wales and so did England. Well, how was it for you guys? Just explain what happened.
We were told to close down from Boxing Day, and like everybody else, we were pissed off about it because at the end of the day, you thought, oh, Christmas is coming up. We've been opened a week, right? So it's a week run up to Christmas, then closed again on one of the busiest times of the year. So, aye, pissed off about it. I think everybody in Scotland's exactly the same. I know you sort of get told, we'll do a review in 3 weeks' time. The review comes round and you're still getting told you're closed. So, nobody really knows when they're going to open back up. Personally speaking, I think, and I hope I'm wrong by the way, but I think it's going to be around about April, just after or hopefully just before the Easter holiday period. But I've got a sneaky feeling that's what's going to happen. But if it's before that, brilliant. But I think we're all just chatting at the bit to get back to work now. I think everybody's had enough.
Yeah. How are your fellow barbers up in Scotland handling the situation? Is everybody doing okay or are people struggling?
There's a few messages me that are struggling mentally. I find the whole situation, I mean, especially the guys that, even the girls that are living alone, you know, they've not got maybe partners, they can't get to see anybody. They're frustrated, you know. They don't know what to do next. And I'm trying to sort of say, you know, just see it through it. We'll get there. I mean, last year, considering the lockdown last year, it flew in. The difference was last year that it was during the summer period. With this time, it's the winter, so everybody's confined to the house. And I don't care who you are, it's going to drive you balmy if you've not got somebody to talk to every day. And being barbers, even hairdressers, or anybody in the beauty side of things, if you're used to speaking to people every day of the week, having a wee chat, passing the day with them, all of a sudden you've not got that, it's going to drive you nuts. It's going to drive you nuts. So it's just a case of trying to stay in the moment, I think, is more than anything else, and find something to do. It doesn't matter how stupid it is. Even if you paint the fridge, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's just find something to do.
Yeah.
Plan. I think planning for when we're opening back up, even though we've not been given a date, I think planning for opening back up, maybe making a few changes you never thought of making, things like that, you know, and progressing from there. But it's just going to take a bit of time, I think. Even getting back, it's going to be a nightmare because we've been off that long now. I remember the first lockdown when we opened back up, and you're trying to run things in your appointments as normal. It doesn't work that way. I fell about an hour and a half behind the first day I opened up. I couldn't do anything about it. So you're just hoping that your customers are, you know, you explain to your customers, yeah, we might have a wee short period where we're going to lag behind, but be patient with us because back into it again. We're out of practice. Yeah, you can do a haircut. I mean, we're not going to forget how to do a haircut. It's just going to take you that wee bit longer. So I would suggest that if you're doing appointments, instead of giving yourself, say, half an hour for an appointment, give yourself 40, 50 minutes for an appointment for the first week or so, just till you get back into it, because it's going to take everybody a bit of time.
Definitely. Do you think that we should actually be open now, just like the dentists and the opticians, with the PPE we got in place?
Everybody's got their own theories on this, right?
But Ray, this is the interview. I want to know your theory.
I'm going to give you. Everybody's got different theories on it, right? My own personal theory is, I don't see why not. I mean, COVID doesn't know the difference, right? If everybody spent fortunes on PPE, getting ready for it, and I know there's a new variant, I understand that, but I think personally, it's like anything. If your customers are willing to come to you, they feel safe coming to you, and you feel safe doing them, then I don't see what the problem is. As long as you've got everything, all the protocols are put in place. I mean, originally, we were not supposed to close down. We were supposed to stay open for the well-being of the public, right? And I'm going to say this: the Federation, Hairdressing Federation, whatever you want to call themselves, they jumped on board and said that their client, which they are, I think there's about 3,000 of them or something like that, were complaining that they didn't feel safe, and that's why we closed down. Now, these are hairdressers, not barbers. Barbers can work totally differently to a hairdresser. I mean, at the end of the day, we're not facing the client directly. I mean, if you're a beautician, I get it, right? But barbers do not face a client directly, really, for any length of time. I mean, you've got to be, and I think this is forgotten somewhere, you've got to be direct contact with a customer for 10 minutes, face on, without a mask on, everything else, before you've got a chance of catching COVID. We don't. We spend more time standing behind them at the side than anything else. So I don't think, personally, we should have closed down. Okay, the scientific blah, blah, blah is going to say totally different, but there's nothing. I mean, you look at the figures for barbers and hairdressers, are way below their point, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. So, no, we should not be closed. My own opinion.
I personally think that we should be in the same bracket as doctors, dentists, and opticians. And I think that we should be treated exactly the same as them, because if we run our businesses the same as them, I don't see why we should be open. But again, you know, it's been
doctors are funny up here. What I'm finding is my wife's been trying to deal with the doctors is most of it are over the phone. They'll not bring anybody into the surgery unless they really have to. I mean, same with a dentist. A dentist won't do anything unless it's an emergency, right? So, and by the way, they're charging fortune. You want to get a tooth pulled, right? This normally costs about £40, £50 depending on your dentist. They're charging over £100 because they're telling you we've got to use extra PPE and put our precautions in place. Now, did we charge 3 times or twice the amount of money for doing a haircut because we've got to use PPE? We'd end up with no business. So I don't think we should be in the same bracket as a doctor or a dentist. I think we should be a different. I mean, they've already I think it's a BCIS. Separated their industry, right? But that's only in England, not in Scotland, not in Wales, and not in Northern Ireland. So there's a big kick up about that at the moment. And for me, I think, yeah, we should be open. Everybody follows protocols. I don't see it as a problem. But there's a lot of other issues that's got to be fathomed out first. I think all the governments have made an absolute mess here. I know they'll all blame Boris, you know, for these bumbling crap. But at the end of the day, we should have been closed down for the word go. The whole country should have been closed down for the word go. Nobody in, nobody out, no holidays, all that, everything. And we'd have been back open again. I mean, Wuhan, when it first started, back open. Australia's back open. New Zealand's back open. You know what I mean? Because they'd done that. Now, we're a small country. What the fuck are the government thinking about? You know what I mean? Close it down. We'd all be back at work with it.
It almost feels like they're doing it on purpose, doesn't it, Ray?
I don't think they know what they're doing. I think they're listening too much to the scientists, and I don't even think the scientists know what they're doing anymore.
I think it's the money, mate. I think they're being paid backhanders, and they're being told exactly what to do, and they don't want to go along with it, but they have to, and that's why it looks terrible. But that's just my opinion, Ray. But
you start hearing about every COVID death, right? Whether it's not been a COVID death, it's been a heart attack, it's COVID related. It's cancer, it's COVID related. And to bring the figures up, that pisses me off. You know what I mean? I think there's something like 40 or 50,000 people die a year in the UK alone just with pneumonia. You know what I mean? So how many of the people that have actually died in pneumonia or other health problems, but not COVID's a separate issue? This is what we don't know. We don't know because they don't tell us that. And I think it's nonsense. I mean, my wife works in a care home, right, as a lot of people know. And I know other people that work in care homes, and they've been told that any death whatsoever is getting marked down as COVID. That's fucking wrong. Because it should really be, if that person's died of lung cancer or fucking whatever, that's what they've died of, not just COVID. Just so that the governments can show high figures. It's nonsense.
Well, listen, we could be talking all this all night, so we're going to move on. But obviously, there's been some interesting stuff going on in the news the other day. Obviously, you know what happened with me threatening to open the shop because obviously the police having their haircuts. Which
I just seen sense, mate, because it would have cost you a fortune.
Yeah, no, I did the right thing. But, you know, Tom Baxter has got himself into a bit of a pickle. You know, what's your thoughts on that, Ray? Being obviously, you know, being in that situation, like as a barber, and I am, and I feel for him.
I think there's a lot of barbers out there cutting, right? Not just Tom Baxter. Let's not kid myself, right? There's a lot of hairdressers out doing it. There's a lot of beauticians out doing it. There's a lot of nail people doing nails and all the rest of it, right? Tom is a lot of people, right? There's bigger names than Tom out there doing it, right? So don't think there's not. And Tom is unfortunate that you've got a football player in his chair who doesn't speak very well English, apparently, right? And he took a photograph. Yeah, the guy should never have put it up. He should have known what was going on in the country anyway, right? But at the end of the day, Tom should never have done it, right? He shouldn't have done it. No, the way he did there. Right? I don't have a problem. How to explain it? The biggest problem I've got at the moment is there's a lot of people who are getting grants, getting the money and all the rest. There's a lot of people falling through the cracks. I don't know Tom's circumstances. Nobody does, right? Right? We just know he's a name in the industry and all the rest of it. There's a lot of people that haven't had a year's wages. They're not getting the help they need to get. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. My kids are now grown up. They've moved out. They're on their own, right? They've got their partners. See, there was 3-year-old and 5 or 6-year-old. I said this to the wife. I'd probably still cut hair. Because if I've got to put food on that table to feed my kids, I'm not going to feed my kids stuff. Nobody would. So I sympathise with people like that. Yeah, if you went into every avenue, you cannot.
It was necessary blasting it all over the 10 o'clock news, though.
No, because they're looking for somebody. They're looking for somebody with a name to make an example of, and unfortunately, Tom is the name they're going to make an example of. But then again, you've got to look at the other police. What would they? 30-odd policemen that's done there get the haircuts? The police station.
Yeah, they're getting their haircuts in the police station, and they should get exactly the same treatment as Tom.
God, they got with the 200.
Ray, the fact of the matter is, though, Tom's just doing his job, mate. He's not doing anything criminal, really, you know. And that's what people aren't saying. People aren't sticking up for him by saying that. So I will, you know.
He's doing me. My old man used to say, "Do what you're good at. If that's what you're good at, then do it." Right. I just think he's unfortunate to get put in that position. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, get put in a position that he should never have been put in. But there's a lot out there. I mean, there's a lot more going to get caught.
Yeah, but not just that as well, mate. It's all the online bullying as well. I've been a victim of this, so have you. But, you know, Tom, some of the stuff people were saying, I was getting screenshots sent through of certain people just showing me what people were saying. The knives are out, mate, and it's just, there's no need, like. To make it worse.
If the authorities are being made aware of what somebody's doing, then you let the authorities deal with it, right? There's no point in everybody jumping on Facebook, calling them this, calling them that, and all the rest of it, because they don't know the guy personally. I don't know the guy personally. I've met him a couple of times. I like his work, I like what he does, but you don't know the guy personally. So I don't believe in witch hunts for anybody. I think that's a joke. You know what I mean? I think the admin on the pages and every Facebook page that deals with barbers or hairdressers, whatever, when they start having a go, they should step in there and say, look, enough's enough, let the authorities deal with it and go no further. If he happens to be on that page, then admin gets together with other admin on the moderators and say, "What do you want to do? Do we put him off the page, or do we let him have a wee say here, or what?" But don't go witch hunting the guy, because it's wrong. And it goes for any barber. No witch hunting. I've been at the other end of that myself, and I know for a fact that it can play mentally in your mind and a lot of other things as well. So it's not a nice thing to do. So guys, whoever's doing it and still want to do it, please back off, because I'm not.
That's it. Exactly. And on that note, right, I'm going to bring him in early. He's our special guest. I'm going to bring him on. So this is a good part to get him in. Ray, we are going to talk about the Scottish Barbers Association, the Barbers Post, just after we get Stephen on. But I'm just going to ask Stephen a few questions now, and I'm going to ask both of you questions at the same time. So I'll have both of your answers coming in together. So I'll just meet Stephen now. And here he is.
All right, then.
Stephen, how are you, buddy? Just a brief description on yourself, buddy. How long have you been cutting hair? What part of Scotland are you from?
Right, my name's Stephen Pratt, aka Ace of Fades. I've been barbering like solidly in a shop for 2 years, but I did train before that at college, but there was a gap in between college and me actually going into a shop. I stay in Ayrshire, Kilmarnock, where I work in a shop called The Compound. I shut down my business, Ace of Fades, because I got an offer from Josh McPike, who's one of the educators with Scottish Barbering Association, and it was too good to turn down. He's one of my barbering idols, actually, and I met him up in Dundee when I was on stage for the first time with Raymond, and I met Josh there, and I got talking to him, and we formed this friendship. And now he's taking me to a whole new level of barbering, understanding shape and sections and styling hair and all that stuff. Like, I always had an idea of what to do, but I didn't have I worked on my own for a while because nobody would really give me a chance in Ayrshire. And I could do a fade. Because I learned that I was a junior in Roots in Sturton, and a boy in there taught me how to do a fade. And I volunteered in there. I didn't get paid or anything for it. I done it for the love of barbering. Barbering's a lot more to me than a job. It saved me from a life of addiction. Let's say I've had quite a colourful past, a lot of personal obstacles to overcome, but barbering's got that. I feel as if I'm addicted to barbering. My addictive personality, I've now focused it onto something positive for the first time in my life, and I love it. Like, I miss it like mad. You know, I've got the Sally head up there which I've been practicing on and trying to create. I want to create something. That's my all-time goal. I want to be, when I die, I want my haircut to live on, sort of thing. That's the sort of spin I want to, what I want to do. And I also want to do a lot more stuff with the Scottish Barbering Association. I don't feel as if Scottish barbers get a lot of recognition in the industry, and I don't get it. I mean, the boy I work with, Josh McPike. I mean, he's, in my eyes, he's the best barber in the country. So he is. He's that good. And he was the same as me. He came into this later on in life, and I think it's just having passion. It's like he noticed my passion and noticed what I had to change, and knew it wouldn't take me long. It only took 2 days or something for me to understand what I was doing. And I'm not the full article by no means. I've still got loads to learn, and I learn off each barber who I meet. I'll learn, so I'll pick something up off them, and I'll try and use it, because I know, like, that I'm not where I want to be in the industry. I do have plans with Josh to try and change barbering where we live, because the barbering, it's all right, but it's not. I mean, I went to Glasgow to train at college, and I'd never seen a skin fade before. I didn't even know what a skin fade was, and I've always loved, but I'd love getting my hair cut, love going in the barbers, love the buzz, but I'd ask for a zero, and I'd ask, can you go shorter than a zero, and they would always say no. And I was like, right, okay. And then I went to college in Glasgow, and I seen a skin fade, and I was like, well, that's how short I want my hair at the back and side. So I want to learn how to do that. And that's where I came up with the name Ace of Fades. It just hit me while I was standing in college, and I thought, right, that's what I'm going to do. And I bought a barber chair. I had a mirror, and I just done it in the house until somebody gave me a chance. And the girls down at Salon G in Kilmarnock, they gave me a chance, and I ended up winning Male Grooming Venue of the Year at the Shabba Awards. And I've also got highly commended for Gent Stylist of the Year. And that was in my first year of business, and it was the proudest day of my life. I took my wee daughter with me. She was up on stage in the Hilton, and I had the kilt and that on, and it was just, I knew I'd finally found something. This is where I'm meant to be. This is it. This is my life now. And now we've got this break, and it's been this on off break. And at first it was all right last year because I think I needed it, but this time round, I'm just getting scunnered with it. It's just like, I know we're all in the same boat, and
we all want to get back to work, buddy, don't we?
Aye. It's just one of the things. Like, I don't know, but I know when I'll be back. I know when I'm back, I'm raring to go. I'm itching to get back. I've got I can't turn my mind off, Sean. I can't turn my mind off. It's just I look at guys' heads. I went to my wee brother's wedding, and all I was looking at was guys' heads. I wasn't looking at any of the women that was there. It was guys' heads that I was looking at, and that's.
You trying to tell us something?
No. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with cutting hair.
We do the same, man. We do the same.
Aye.
Mate, listen, I love you. I absolutely love your enthusiasm. Obviously, I met you down in Birmingham. We had loads set up for 2020. We were heavily involved in a lot of the stuff we were doing with British Master Barbers, and Stephanie and Rob were doing. I know Ray was probably going to use you at some point for some stuff they had set up. Ray, going into obviously meeting Stephen for the first time, tell us about that experience, and then vice versa with you, Stephen.
Stephen's work came to me. A few guys were passing me some of his work, and I was watching him on Facebook. He was putting a lot of pictures up and all the rest of it. And I says to him, look, don't post as much. You don't have to. If you're good at shows and you're already showing it's good. At that time, I was trying to put a show together for Dundee, the college up there with Alison Brown. They were educators. And we done a stage show, and we done a bit of educating with educators and exactly what Barbers about. But Stephen up on the stage, first experience, I took it well. You know, you've got to bring you out of yourself. You don't talk enough, but we'll work on that. But I mean, I've got plans for next year, which we'll speak about. I mean, I can't plan anything now because at the end of the day, the biggest problem I've got is it going to go further on the year? Is it going to keep going to August? So there's no point in me planning a single thing. I've got plans, but not for this year, right? You were saying we're not getting enough recognition. We're known out there, but we're not known enough yet because if last year had went the way it was supposed to go, when it was doing a lot of in-shop training and everything else, then it came at the end of the year, I had a couple other shows coming up, and it's more out of the water. There's nothing we can do about it. So we've got stuff to build on, but I've got a few ideas and a few things in the pipeline that I think will really make that a mark on it, you know, but it's just going to take a bit of time. Rome isn't built in a day, as one man said, and that was Phil Jarman, right?
There you go. So, Stephen, obviously meeting Ray for the first time, what was that experience like?
That was good. It was Ray used to speak to me through Facebook Messenger before I went up there and offered to come to the shop and train me up and stuff, and I was all up for it, and then he asked me to go on the stage, and I get excited about things. I just agree to things without really thinking about what I'm doing. But then when I do get there, I'm like, right, this is big. And when I went up there, I mean, there was another 5 guys there, and I felt comfortable on the way there. But when I was on stage, and I'll say this all the time, but he gave me the seat with the bad lighting, so he did had bad lighting that day. and also with
he stitched me up as well, bro.
And he did say to me about not posting so much, but and I took that in. I understood, because I used to think maybe I am posting too much, right?
Yeah, but that you can overpost, yes.
Over posting is. I think I'm just that obsessed with it that I like to post, and my Instagram was like a progression thing for myself. But now that I've kind of came out of that now. I still need to stop doing that. So that's something. What I do now is I just try not to tag Ray in anything, so he doesn't know.
So I know you are.
You can't get put nothing past Ray, mate. He sees everything, bro. He sees everything, honestly.
Well, I'll tell you the problem with overposting, right, on Facebook particularly, right, is you go, oh, it's just him again, and they fly by the picture, right? They don't actually look at what you've done, right? You know, I mean, the best thing is when you're putting a picture up, obviously the lighting and everything else is important, but also get a description of what you're putting up, right? And make people stop and look at it. Give them a reason to stop and look at it, and that's why you don't. I mean, guys like Alan Beat and stuff like that don't post all the time. You'll get the odd here, and it was something different. You've got to look at why these guys are at the top level, because that's what they do. So just post for the sake of posting. When you think that's a good haircut, I'm going to post. I mean, I did it myself. That's a good haircut, I'm going to post that, right? You know, fuck, that's him posting. But then the other problem is you're leaving yourself up for criticism. Because there's always somebody.
I know. I've experienced that already.
Well, that leads me up to my next question. I'm going to start off with Stephen this time first. What's your favourite current haircut at the moment, and what do you like doing? And I'm going to ask the same question to Ray.
I've got to say a skin fade. I love a skin fade, so I do. I just love the way they look. I love doing them. I love the process of doing it. And then when that person stands up and walks out, I love looking at it and go, I done that. It was especially to say this is the best skin fade I've ever had. So in Ayrshire, they've not really seen them like the way we do them. So I'll always stay to that. But because I do a lot of them, I think I've not really done much else. I've done a mullet before, but and a couple of scissor cuts. But it's got to be a skin fade for me.
Ray?
Skin fade. I like skin fades, right? Problem I've got is I do them day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. A lot of my guys are sort of late 20s, mid 30s, and that's all they get, right? They're all builders or farmers, and that's all they get, day in, day out, day in. I can't wait if somebody comes in and says, can you just give me a short back and sides? Can you just give me a wee taper? You know, just a nice wee scissor cut, a wee bit heavy. Can't wait for that, you know, that's great. Or, again, mullets, V's, great, bit of fun. I mean, back in the late 90s, that's all we done was V's. V's are as common then as what skin fades are now. It's just something almost.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Right. The difference was when we were doing the mullets and the V's, we were using wee mini straighteners to get the hair out, we were colouring it, we put the texture into it, you know. So I still like, I mean, I don't mind doing a skin fade if the guys want a wee bit of texture into it, maybe something a wee bit different. It's a bit of fun.
Good,
you know?
good.
And,
Okay, guys, next question. Tools. What's your go-to clipper? What's your go-to trimmer? What's your go-to foiler? I'll start off with Ray this time.
My Well Academy clippers, which are corded, right? Great machine. That's my go-to clipper. I mean, I can fade with that, I can cut with that, I can do what I want with that, basically. Foils are Wow. I've got 2 sets of Wow. I've got a finale set, and I've got another one, I can't even remember the name of it. It used to be the Ultima, which they don't make anymore. So I've got another one where the actual head moves. I'll put a picture at some point. The head actually moves on it, which is great. So you can get right in, and it's a wee bit stronger to work with because there's a motor inside of it. So if it's somebody like Asian hair or something's a bit stronger, it seems to cut through, but I'll use the finale to finish it off. So they're my go-tos. All my stuff's Wow, same as my small machines are wee teacup Wow, you know. Scissors, challenging.
Nice.
My thinning scissors, which I don't use very often unless I'm adding a bit of or something like that. Spotters, got a number 5s. And my combs are all Matadors. My Matador, what's a Matador was my dad's joke, right? A Matador number 5 comb, and I use a number 3 tapering comb, which is a wee flat one because it doesn't have a spine on it, so you can run it off quite easily. And also my flat top comb I've used for blending in over the years, which was something that didn't really happen to the 90s, where I think it was yours faithfully, hairdressers, the barbers in there all used the flat top comb to blend. But I use a flat top comb for it's a flat top, so that was quite a good idea, I thought, especially if you get thick hair and you're struggling a wee bit with the machine, you can break it down with a flat topper. So a big afro comb.
Nice, Ray. Nice. So, Stephen, go to clipper, go to trimmer, go to foiler, scissors.
What's
in your arsenal, my friend?
Go to clipper right now is my WoW seniors. I was on the Barbeless FX, but I changed to the seniors. The trimmer's a skeleton, the Barbeless skeleton trimmer, and my foils are the Barbeless foil or the Grey Andis foil. And I'm using the Kenshi blade scissors because that's where we met when we're down in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And I use
You an ambassador for Kenshi blade still?
Yep.
I was, but not anymore.
YS Park combs, the white Oster comb, and a YS Park taper comb. That's in my arsenal. I've got loads of other stuff, but I barely use it. And I've got to use the Barbeless guards. Sweet,
man. Sweet. So, guys, as you know, you've seen the news this week with the loss of our brother Alan Stone. I just want to dedicate this show to him. He was a good friend of mine. I work with him at the GBBA. I'm not sure if you knew him, Stephen, but I know you know him, Ray. Yeah. Anything you just want to say about Alan? Just any memories, really? Just anything you want to bring up?
Alan, I met down, I think it was Birmingham the first time. Very easygoing guy, good crack, bit of fun. But my biggest memory was on stage for the Scottish Barber of the Year in the SEC, and Mike Taylor invited myself and my son up, right, to do a bit of work on the stage. And Phil, my brother at the time, was supposed to do the compere, but Phil couldn't make it because obviously had the operation done and stuff like that, unfortunately. So Alan done the compere there, and we had a good laugh, and it was great fun. And he's a great guy to bounce off. Mike will tell you that. Mike Taylor will let you know that. Most of the guys that know him, I'll tell you the same thing. If Alan's doing a compere and you're on stage, he knows how to bounce people off each other and have a bit of fun. And that's the way to remember him. And it's a barber. He cut my hair that day actually as well. It was shit. No, I'm not kidding. He's a good barber. He's a great educator. Known for his shaving, from what I heard as well, quite a bit.
I got to the finals. It's extremely beating Denver.
I didn't really know that till I think it was, I can't remember if it was Mike or somebody had put up something, or Chris Foster even had put that up about him doing his shaving. So I didn't know that. He was well known for that. I just thought he was a great all-round guy. I mean, I don't see anybody ever having a problem with Alan anyway at all. And he'll be sadly missed. I really will be. He'll be sadly missed throughout the whole industry. It's a shame. I feel sorry for his family as well and his friends, close friends.
Well, again, like I said, it's extremely difficult with everything going on at the moment. Obviously, we're all dealing with mental health issues as well because we're closed, and it does damage us mentally because we can't cut hair. We've got lots of people asking us to cut hair, and we can't do it. Stephen, how have you been dealing with that situation, my friend? How have you been keeping? Obviously, you asked Ray earlier, but how have you been keeping?
Well, I've got a personal thing going on through, obviously addiction services, and I've been in that for 6 years. So I've been prepared. It's like I've been prepared for this. I lived a life of isolation for 20 years before I was a barber. So I've kind of trained myself, and I meditate sometimes in the morning, and I just wish for. I know better days are coming. And I've been through way worse than this. So I kind of, for me personally, it's easy. It's not easy, but I just know I've been through worse things. I'm grateful for how far I've came already in life, and this is just like a curveball getting flung at us. But I know that better days are coming, and I read stuff, inspirational things, and I listen to stuff, and I check in with people in the recovery stuff every week. So I'm all right. It's like as long as I don't go back that way towards all the chemicals and the alcohol and all that, then I'm fine.
You're not allowed to go back that way.
No, definitely not. I've got way too much to lose now.
Bro, once you become a barber and you join our gang, mate, we won't allow it, bro.
No, I know that. I've got loads of folk that would come up to my door anyway. Josh isn't too far away.
Listen, I don't know if you know, Stephen, but I suffer real bad with mental health. I've been suffering for quite a few years. I lost my mum when I was younger, and really affected me, really, because I didn't really sort of get over it. And then it's sort of like a roll-on effect years later, and I haven't been a saint myself, buddy. So, you know. But anyway, moving on now, guys, to the sort of social media side of it. You know, using Facebook and Instagram and so on. I know, obviously, we talked about pictures earlier. But guys, what I want to talk about is a lot of people are starting to move away from Facebook and Instagram, and they're using all these other platforms to promote their work. Is this something you guys might be looking into, Ray?
Not at the moment. It depends on the platform. I don't see anything by Instagram and Facebook now, really, unless you've got 3/4 of the world on it. No, you've really got to. I mean, you've got to look at where your client base is. I mean, who you advertising for? You advertising for your clients, or you advertising for yourself? When you're advertising for yourself, look at the client base. Look at what your client base is on, and you advertise to them, and you advertise to their friends, and so forth. Same Instagram. My biggest laugh at the moment is when you go on Instagram and Facebook, and somebody's got a picture up. Nice haircut, but they've got a mask on. That cracks me up. There's no way I'm going to put a picture up with somebody with a mask on. It just looks ridiculous. You know what I mean? I mean, I get it if it was.
It's showing they're complying, isn't it? You know, I put photos up with masks on. So is Stephen. You know, and it's. I know, Ray. I totally agree with you. I agree.
Take the mask off and take a picture of them outside. It's a far better picture than a picture of somebody sitting in their chair with a mask on. You know what I mean? It's just. Cracks me up, honestly. It's one of the funniest things. But going back to what we were talking about, social media, it depends on who you're trying to put it to. If you're trying to go on the high fashion and stuff like that, then you've got to look at what they're using. You know, if you're like, I want to move up to a higher level, that's the way you've got to do. Who the high fashion guys using? Then you've got to look at guys like Chris Foster and speak to guys like him who know how to get you there. So that's the way forward with these kind of things. You know, it's difficult. It depends what you want to be personally. For me at the moment, I'm just happy to keep my customers happy. Give them a wee message now and again. I mean, that's what's good about doesn't matter what. I mean, I use Booksy. I'm obviously an ambassador for Booksy, right? I use Booksy. But on the database, I can get in contact with every single one of my customers through a message blast. So I send them a wee message every now and again saying, hey guys, just to let you know, it's all right. I just hope you're all well. You can always message me if you need to. And that's it. And I think every booking app should have that. Just to keep in contact, and that as well as its own social media. You know? So depends on the platform that you want to use and where you want to be in your career. I mean, I'm 53 now. You know what I mean?
You're old now, Ray. You're an old head, and I want to ask Stephen the same question, coming from a young. How old, Stephen? How old are you, bud?
I'm 35.
Oh, you're not that young. Well, no. there's still a bit of an age gap there, you know. So, what do you think of social media? Are you one of these people who are going to use the new platforms like Twitch and?
No, well, I know. I heard that the biggest social media platform right now is TikTok, and I know there's a lot of barbers on TikTok. But I mean, I tried to do a wee thing on TikTok, but it got like 17 views or something on it, and I just thought no. But for me, is inertia. The biggest social media platform now is Facebook, so we tend to use Facebook more than Instagram. Obviously, we've covered my social media use with all my posting and all that. So my favourite social media platform is Instagram, but I've also got to work on now my social media use. So I don't know, but TikTok seems to be the way forward right now for everything.
I was on TikTok, but then you're seeing so much kid content because it's the using it, and I just had to have a word with myself. Come on, you know, nearly 40 years old, and I'm on bloody TikTok, so I come off it. I don't miss it. It's not. But Facebook and Instagram are extremely difficult to come off, gentlemen, and that's my point I was trying to get to, is that if you come off social media, especially Facebook and Instagram, it's almost as if like you're not connected to the barbering world anymore. It's like
you've got to actually speak to your customers. See your younger clientele. If you speak to them, they tell you what they use, and that's what they use. I mean, what's the other one I want them to use? It's that
Snapchat.
Snapchat, right?
Yeah. Again, that's another one for kids I can't use.
Right, that's Snapchat, right? I don't see the point of Snapchat from us, right? But if you're covered up for 20-year-old, then I can see the point of using Snapchat. But you've got to look at your own client's age, your average, and say, well, that's who I need to get it to. You want to go younger, then okay, have Snapchat. Or you have somebody in your shop who is young enough to use Snapchat, and you say, you go on Snapchat and you can advertise what you're doing there to get your customers. That's really what it comes down to. But most people are still using Facebook and Instagram. TikTok is a good point. There's a lot, I had a look at it, there's a lot of dodgy stuff in TikTok. I wouldn't put it out there, it's not worth it.
Ray, do you know what you need, mate? You need a vintage book with just loads of old blokes on there. Ray, I got to ask the question, mate. Why haven't you done an Instagram for the barber post?
Why have I not done an Instagram for the barber's post? I have got an Instagram page for the barber's post.
Oh.
But I don't use it.
Stop bloody using it, mate.
I'll tell you what it is with the barber's post. Barber's post started off with about 800 to 1,000 members about 4 or 5 years ago, right? We've got nearly 12, we're about 11,500 members on it now. It's international, right? It's no longer.
Well, apparently, when I was interviewing Paul Devlin the other day, I was on the Moo, and the Martians on there said they were on it, so it's universal.
Yeah, there you go. You're always on the Moon. I want to go there, but so it's very, very international. I mean, the thing is, the barber's post. I thought the idea behind the barber's post originally was it was meant to be like a magazine page, right? People come on and see it like a magazine, but a lot of Americans picked up on the name Barber's Post because there's a lot of barbers over in America called the Barber's Post. They're very big in their name wise as well. So that's why as soon as you put that up, they think, oh, the Barber's Post, we'll go on that. Do you know one thing about it? As an admin, my son's an admin as well. We've very, very rarely had any trouble on that page with anybody. Because what I've noticed is one other particular page where
they're all on the other pages attacking me.
One of the biggest page that they use in America, which I'm on still, right? There's always somebody having a go at somebody.
Mate, I love it. I want them to keep doing it, to be honest. I'm happy because all it does is keep me relevant and out there. So
yeah, so what's happened is the guys that were getting dug at ended up in the Barber's Post. And I watched them going from one page to the next page. Another page I've got is the Barber's Learning Exchange, right? Who I'm admin on there along with Mike Taylor, Luigi Caterino, and there's no trouble in that either. I think that's going to be a bit more international what's coming on to it. Originally it wasn't supposed to be that, so it's been. I've always got another page called the group.
Right. I was going to ask the question. We want to know what's going on anyway. What's happening with the Scottish Barbers Association?
At the moment,
what's the update?
Right, well, at the moment, all we're doing is we're becoming an information gatherer for members right there on the page. The current issues, everything's coming up, we'll try and cover it. Who gets paid, where do they get paid, what council they get in touch with. But the members are interacting themselves a wee bit with that as well. It's not just me, which is quite good. There's always something controversial, which could be a bit fun at times, but other times you've got to watch it. As the future goes, we've got a few things, as I've said to the man there, that we'll be putting in place next year. Not doing anything this year. Originally, we started off last year, it was in-shop training, which was working out brilliantly. We had the gig at Dundee, we were going to go back there at some point. And a few other colleges we were going to go to, but everything's been postponed. There's a lot of big names all over the country, the shops we were going to go into and do the in-shop training along with them. And it'd been really good, and then I had a show as well organised separately with that for the Scottish Barbers Association in Edinburgh, which we were trying to get underway. Obviously that got put aside. And then I had a Barber Fusion show which I was going to put up in Glasgow again at the Wing Docks.
Which I believe I headlined the first one, didn't I?
You did so. But this was bigger. This was going to be themed. And we'll still do that at some point. A big plans for that one. But as everybody else, there's a bit of limbo at the moment. Until we actually know everything's back to normal properly. I mean, this is the strange thing about it. When you go into a shop at the moment, everybody's a wee bit, around each other, right? So when we do go back to work and things do start going back normal, everybody's going to still be the same. So getting everybody into a hall to do anything is going to be very difficult because they're all still going to be like, what? Because they're into that habit. It's going to take a couple of years, I reckon, to get out of that habit. And obviously, it's just the way it's going to go now. We're just going to have to take it one step at a time and hopefully get things back to normal as quickly as possible. And that's what everybody wants. I mean,
well, on one of the previous shows, I spoke to Lena and Mark and Paul and Robert about these shows, which I'm going to ask you two about now. But I said if we do get a show this year, it'll probably be Sound International. You're probably looking at about £150, £200 a ticket because of the venue is going to be charging double. That's the problem you've got, Ray. If you did the Fusion event in the Masonic Hall we did last time, you're probably looking at double, maybe triple the price. Certain days, and also you've got restrictions on there as well. You can only have a limited amount of people in the venue.
I don't believe in charging people a lot of money to come and see a show. Right?
No, listen, I totally understand that, but what I'm trying to explain is the venue is not going to care if it's hair, it's not going to care if it's cars,
No,
it's not going to care if it's TV. They're going to want their money for that show, and that's going to be it.
It will depend on the venue. I mean, if they want to get their business back to normal as quickly as possible without killing everybody, then they shouldn't be charging away over the odds for it. I think it's just greedy. I mean, it's like at the moment there's a big argument in a lot of pages about should we charge more when we go back to work. My question is this: why? Because they're going to go down the road to somebody else that's a bit cheaper, right? Because money's going to be tight. There's going to be a lot of people out of work. They're not going to have it. So my advice is don't go ridiculous with that. If you're going to charge maybe £1 or £2, that I can understand. But don't think, I'm charging £15 for that. I'm not going to charge £25 for that because you'll just lose your business. And it happened to a big hairdresser a few years back in Glasgow. I can't remember her name. She won a big award and she thought, I'll double my prices now. I've got a big name. But 82 years she lost all her business and she's nowhere now. So you've got to be very careful. And I'm only giving you this experience. People have to get the money. Hold your prices the best you can. Don't go above them. I mean, usually I'll go up this April. I'm not moving my prices. I'm going to wait and see how things work for everybody else first.
Yeah. Wise move.
How the land lies before I do anything for the first 6 to 8 months. Because I think if you move too quickly on this, you'll just destroy yourself. Yeah, people.
Just stop you there, Rick. What are you actually charging at the moment for a skin fade and a haircut in the shop?
At the moment, £12 for a normal haircut, £14 for a style cut, £17 for a skin fade.
Yeah.
A beard trim, I'm £3. A beard shape up, I'm £5. A shave, I'm £25. And cut colour, if it's just a cut and proper colour, I'm £35.
Stephen, what are you charging, mate?
A haircut, I'm £15, and a hair and beard, I'm 20.
Yeah.
That's it.
Any other services you offer, or is that just that?
I don't. When somebody asks, a haircut, that falls in a skin fade, a fade, a mullet, anything will be, because I take the same amount of time for each haircut. If it's a two back and side, I'm still going to, I may not take 45 minutes, but I want to make it as perfect as I can. So each appointment will be an hour. And I'll make sure that if they can't get that full hour, then it's more than what they would usually get anywhere else. And with the beard is obviously just lined up a beard. I don't do full shaves anymore. I used to do them, but I felt it very time consuming. And also I'd only just learned. Sophie Brush Barber taught me how to use the open razor, and then I was advertising full shaves, and people were coming in expecting me to know what I'm doing really, and I was a bit. It was just too much of a risk for me, I think. And then obviously once we are allowed to start doing more stuff, we will do facials. We'll do a face steam and all that stuff. That's what we want to do, like a grooming package, a haircut, your beard, and a face steam.
You saw me doing the steam shave at the Grandmaster class. Last February, which which has been nearly a year today.
Mhm.
Well, a year next Sunday. Sorry, it was the second Sunday, wasn't it?
Mhm.
But yeah, that was great. And listen, like shaving is great. Like you know about shaving, it's its own separate module on its own, isn't it? Shaving. It's
Got to the semi-finals. Scotland's best shave, right? And Puso, funny enough, and Raffle, right? Raffle won the Scottish contingent on it. I also went back down. I managed to make it to a short list again for Scotland's best shave. I made it down to Birmingham for that. It's hard to your trainers. There's about 3 or 4, maybe even 5 different methods of doing a shave. What you've got to find out is what one suits you. What's the easiest? What I find difficult with the shaving, because when I first done it way back, was with a fixed blade, maybe 3 or 4, one wee French blade and all that kind of thing, and the tempered steel. And used to, part of your apprenticeship would be to hold that blade, get it up to the shaving level, and every customer would have their own razor. Then you'd oil and stone. I mean, the blade itself was heavier, so when you're doing a shave, it was brilliant because it just used to slide down. Problem I find with the news, and I mean, I think the feather blades is one of the best blades out there. And I know Gary Matron uses it as well. But it's not doing the prep more than anything else. Before you could go lather up, wet it, steam it, whatever, and just go boom, 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 right? Now you've got to make sure that the moisture's right, the skin doesn't dry. I mean, the soap, whatever you're using, does not dry whatsoever. So the wetter the better, obviously not dripping, but almost, so that the blade could just, again, you've got to put tension on it, it's just slide it down. Because if you don't do that, you're going to be going, end up with razor burn. But we've all done it with the blades at some point when we first used them. And my tip for learning to shave is, okay, go and shave a blade if you want, but learn to use it for edging and cleaning the back of the neck first. Even if it means putting a wee bit of lather on it, get the feel, get the angle right. You know, when you can go too much an angle and you can scrape, just get the right angle or do you go flatter? Depending on the razor you're using as well, obviously. The Turkish boys probably get the best razors out there because they're very fine. The blade goes in and it holds it stiffer, and the stiffer the better. There's not too much movement. One with too much movement can cause problems. So you've got to find what suits you. But it can be fun. I mean, I can do a shave in 20 minutes. I've done it on stage, right? Depends on it depends how much time you're going. I understand Stephen's point. It can take too much time, so how do I charge for that? I mean, you could be doing a shave, it could take you about an hour. It took me an hour, but the first time I done it, I'm like, geez, oh. The other problem you've got is parts of the face. I mean, that's one of the most difficult bits of the side. I leave that to last 99% of the time. I put a bit of lather on it when I'm first doing it, a bit of moisturiser. Then I'll get the rest of the shave down. Then I'll come to that last, make sure that stretch and get the blade in. Then you've got the toe of the blade, the heel. It's a lot of different things. You've got to use different. The thinner the face, the more pointy the face, the more difficult to shave. As a big ball, best one to practice on somebody with a big body. Honestly, right?
You've got to know your skin type, haven't you, Ray?
Aye. Dry skin. As a person had an open shave before, got to warn them. It might be too porous, it might open up his pores. You've got to have the right stuff to sit there to put on right away. Best thing, towel straight out the fridge, cold. It's been lying in there most of the day. It's frozen and get it straight on right away. Get a moisturiser on it as soon as you can, whatever else, or aftershave balm. There's plenty of stuff there. Actually, another one, the British Barbers Association have got, and I know they're backing on this, is the dragon blood. Brilliant stuff. See on the face, oh, it's disgusting in your hands. But see
What about the after balm lotion, the dragon? I can't remember the name of it now. But yeah, I have tried it at Rob's. I did think it was very nice. Yeah. I will admit though, I'm a massive fan of the Shave Doctor range. I think that products are amazing. I
know Mark quite well. I spoke to Mark quite a lot of times, and yeah, he's got a cracking range. You know what I mean? It's all down to, you've got to find out again what suits you, what suits your clients, and what suits your pocket as well, obviously. You know what I mean? You've got to find out, can I sell this to my customers as well as use it? You know, the things like that you've got to take into consideration. It depends on your customer base. Are they high class, middle class, lower class? Where do they come in? Because everybody's going to be different.
Definitely.
I feel as if most of my clients like a beard. they like having a beard and they like their beard all faded in.
A wee faded beard. It's a big thing in Scotland at the moment. Most of the people are walking about with some form of beard. I mean, I never shaved the last week or so because I couldn't care less at the moment because I'm not going on doing anything. But most of the guys have all got a beard of some sorts. I mean, the closest I've gave to myself is give myself my own haircut. But that's the way it goes. But aye, products
Right, guys. So moving on now, we've all started giggling a little bit. Any shop stories? Because I know you Scottish like to bloody speak. Any funny stories you want to tell us, Stephen? I'm sure you probably got a few, and I know you have, Ray. But I'll come on to you second now, okay?
No, really. Like I like to wind my clients up a bit, like make funny faces behind their head as if I've made a mistake, and even Josh once. I went to the toilet and Josh told my client to hide in the wardrobe. There's a cupboard in the storage cupboard, and I came back and he was gone, and I was away out looking for him outside and all that, and the wee guy jumped out the cupboard. So, but I'm sure.
So you were walking about the shop.
No, I was away outside. We work in a gym. Our shop's based inside a gym, so I was away looking about the building for this wee guy, and he was in the cupboard.
A haircut?
No, I hadn't started his haircut. I had them all sectioned out ready, and his gown and that on, and I thought he'd away stole my gown and all that, and I was away outside, and
you didn't care about the haircut. You just wanted your gown back.
I don't even know. I don't know. I was just a bit shocked that he'd went away with my gown. But I'm sure there'll be more stories to come. Me and Josh have got a great relationship, and our clients are really like, there's a very dark. We've got very dark senses of humour, so we do. And you've got to have thick skin to get a haircut in the shop I work in.
Stephen, like I said to you on the phone the other day, we're going to do your own show coming up soon as well. So listen, get your man on there with us as well, same as we're doing here. That'd be
right.
Great. And we'll have a little chat about that as well. But Ray, what stories have you got, my friend? I'm sure you've got a couple.
Well, you always get them.
Hey, make sure you don't go too sexual now, because remember, young barbers.
No, I'm going to keep it funny. Always remember my son was an apprentice, Darren, right? And you get the flat top going with a wee bubble in the middle to tell you the level.
Yeah.
Right. So we sent him up to Sally's because mine was broke. It's always been broken up years, right? So I says to him, Darren, do me a favour. Can you jump up? Could you jump up to Sally's and ask him to get my bubble from my flat top? So he goes away up. He's about 45 minutes. So the shop's all literally 3-4 minutes down the road from where we work. So he comes back. I went, how'd you go on? He went, never had one. I went, what do you mean? I says, what happened? He says, asked the girl who's got a bubble for a flat top. She went, hold on. She went through the back looking for it.
So who was the joke on? The joke was on the girl, nice.
I was wasted. So I'm trying not to be sexual here. The shop opened up across the road, and it's called Mika. Hi, Craig, if you're watching, that's the owner, right? So that shop's more or less all girls. So he sends one of the girls over. He says, Craig's asking, remember this is a girl, about 16, 17, junior. Craig's asking, have you got any fallopian tubes? Lighting tube, fallopian tube. So I says, look, stand there and I'm going to see if I've got anything in the back. Goes down the back, old tube all right, still on the tube. I says, tell me to take that over. I says, and tell me the only tubes that I've got, otherwise are the ones that are standing in the shop. So he goes back over to the shop, he's standing, you can see the girl telling me to Zen. And he's standing there howling, he's like, you ruined that for me. I went, how? He says, because I wanted that you come up with something better than that. I said, what better can I get? I said, fallopian tubes, come on. I said, just don't know what a fallopian tube is. Like, that just tells you how educated some of us hairdressers are. But that's one of the fun. There's I mean, things that guys will walk by and ask you, are you open? No, but the shutters are up. There's a guy in my chair getting a haircut. No, we're shut, mate. There's a lot of things like that. A lot of things that happen over the years. One of the best ones was Mole Man. He was on the phone. My father was a barber.
Yeah.
And And he's got like that. There's something wrong with this phone. I'm like, what do you mean? He says, it's not working. I'm like, what do you mean it's not working? I'm lifting it. I'm going, it's fine. He says, show me what you're doing. He's dialing the till. Put the numbers in the till. Right. He was about my age at the time. I was like, I said, do you want to chuck it? He's done it a while later, about a year or so later. He's done the exact same thing. But this phone's not working again. My dad, I said, look, he went.
So it didn't matter who he was, it's just our mindset in your shop, is it? I take it. For some reason you can start dialing the till.
What was the other one that happened? The film, remember the film, The Full Monty?
Yeah.
Right, that had just come out. They made the TV up in the shop and they put the video on. You see the bit they're all standing in the brew and the music is going on at the exact same time?
Yeah.
They had a word and every barber in the shop at the exact same time. It's hilarious. Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Good fun.
Brilliant. So, guys, I got to ask the question, seeing I'm Welsh and you're Scottish. Have you ever worn a kilt while you've been cutting hair? I know you have, Stephen, but Ray?
Nope.
Stephen, you cut hair while wearing a kilt?
No, I didn't cut hair wearing a kilt. When I went and get my award, I had a kilt on, but I've never cut hair wearing a kilt. It would be too warm. It wouldn't be a nice experience, I don't imagine.
Guys, actually, I've got to ask the question, which everybody does seem to think. You just mentioned it then. I always thought you were freezing under that kilt, but I take it you're quite warm, are you?
Yep.
Well, like really warm, or like warmer than trousers, or?
It's really warm. It's like a big rug that's wrapped around your body, so it's warm.
Guys, when I come up to Scotland, you're gonna have to get me a kilt, man. I want to wear a kilt. I want to be free on the Highlands of Scotland.
Yeah, let the sheep know first.
Mate, we love the sheep. You want to keep them away from me.
Yeah. For the
anyway, guys, we're coming up to the last hour now. I just want to ask you.
We'll keep you away for the Aberdonian sheep. They try and kiss you.
Guys, obviously we've gone way over the hour. For obviously the students who are watching it, Stephen, any advice to people who are getting into the barbering, for like people like young Joe who are training up, what would be your advice to like a 15, 16-year-old getting into the game?
Be prepared to accept constructive criticism. Don't have an ego. Don't come in thinking that you're Billy Big Boss, and take as much information as you can from each person that's teaching you. And find your own style. Like you'll have it if you've got the sauce. Like people can be a barber, but do they have the sauce to do it? Like to progress. Don't learn one haircut. Be prepared to learn everything that there is, and listen to what people like yourself and Ray and Josh are what they're teaching me. Just be prepared to know that you're starting at the bottom, but you'll get there. Great advice, brother. And Ray?
Kids coming into it. If you're going to college and you're learning to become a barber, because you got a certificate, don't think you know everything. That means nothing. What matters is practical. If you're going for a job interview, the barber's not interested in what certificate you've got. They'll tell you to bring a model. Bring a model. Be prepared for constructive criticism, like Stephen says, because at the end of the day, if you've not got it, we know right away within the first couple of minutes if you've got it. And it's not just about the haircut. It's about how you present yourself as well. Go to a shop, doesn't matter what one it is. Do your homework in the shop. Find out what the guys in the shop are wearing as well. If you see a particular shop you want to work in, go and have a look and see what they're doing. Go get a haircut by them. Ask a couple of questions. I think I would advise as well is go and sit in the shop and watch for a day. You see how they're doing. If you have got a bit of an aptitude on it, if it's something you want to do, ask the questions. At the college, ask the questions. Don't the educators are there for that purpose to say, look, I know you're saying that, but what does that really mean? Can you show me? Because some people aren't very good at theory. They're more hands-on. Want to see what they're doing. There's no point saying, I'll put this at a 45-degree angle. If you don't understand what a 45-degree angle is, what's the fucking point of saying it? And That annoys me with educators as well when they're on the stage. Oh, I put your hand at this angle and cut like this, but it's an L shape or it's a T shape or it's whatever. Fucking get it out. You know, I mean, there's not that. Just keep it normal, guys. But if you're a young guy, that's what I suggest. I don't think, like I say, if you've got a bit of paper that says, I am qualified, you are not.
Mm-hmm.
In the first year or so, if you've got it or not. And you're not qualified till you have covered more or less every single aspect of hair, skin, texture. There's loads to go through. And yeah, the theory is great, but the practical is better. So get in a shop, work part-time, find out more about it, build up your skills on communication, how to present yourself, how to take a jacket if somebody walks in the door. Don't give it, just hang it up there, pal, take a seat. You know, communication is very important, no matter who you are. And don't be, when you do know you've got a bit, you do know you're doing really well, don't give it, I'm the best barber. Because there's always some cunt out there that'll fucking kick your ass and knows better. It doesn't matter who you are, how good you are, there's always somebody does something. I go to shows because I pick up something. You pick up something off the worst barber in the world and the best barber in the world, no matter how good they are. So don't ever rubbish somebody. They've always got something to show.
Yeah, you said something really good then, which I will elaborate on. When I grew up in barbering, I started in the 90s. I started Lazarus Brothers, and the main thing which we did there was customer service, taking their jackets, tea or coffee, how are you, sir? I mean, the customer service which I was brought into when I started was so good and so at the top. It sort of filtered down through, and now I've opened my shop. I started off with that mentality and it slipped a little bit, but I guarantee you, when I open back up now, I'm going to be customer services right at the top of my priorities, and then obviously everything else, because I think customer service is the best. And my advice is to youngsters is exactly what Stephen said: lose your ego. Don't think you know it all. Don't think you've watched a couple of YouTube videos, you know, to skin fade, because doing it live is totally different to actually doing it. Be a sponge, absorb all the information which comes in. Remember, you've got A, B, C, D, and E, which is apprentice, barber, competent barber, demonstrator, and an educator. So if you follow that plan, a step-by-step plan, you've got a career plan in front of you guys. And that's what I just want to say to the youngsters, gives a bit of guidance. And I just want to say, brilliant interview today with you two guys. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been a great honor. Again, this show has been dedicated to Alan Stone, absolute legend in the barbering industry. RIP, my brother. You will be sorely, sorely missed. Last words, Ray, Stephen?
Last words. That was a great haircut. No, no. As I said, I know it's hard for everybody at the moment, but just hang in there. I mean, the vaccines are going out now. Let's progress through it. I mean, whether you want one or not, that's up to yourself. But you've got to have vaccines. About 75% of the UK has got to have the vaccine before we can get things back to normal. We'll get there. So just hang in. There's no point putting up stuff about why we're in this mess and how we got there and all the rest of it, because it's just going to do your head in. There's too many theories on it, and it's crazy, because we've all got our own opinion. Stick to your own opinion is probably the best advice I can give you. But we'll get there, guys. I mean, we've had pandemics in this country before, all over the world, the Great Plagues, everybody else. But us still here. So we'll still be here when everything goes back to normal.
Yeah. Steve?
Aye, a bit like what Ray's saying, just like this too shall pass, and don't get caught up in conspiracies and all that. Just wait. As soon as the vaccine comes, then we all take that, and then we're all back. I mean, I know there's a lot of debate about vaccinations and all that, but I mean, I says I'll take two. I've put worse in my system probably over the years, and I'm still here. So. And I'll try and get a new, like a hobby or something. Focus your energy, watch videos, get a sally head, keep your barbering brain active. Even holding your comb and your scissors in your hands, pretend you're taking sections. That's what I do all the time. That's how I've learned to hold scissors and a comb in the same hand now. I used to put my scissors down all the time. So it's just simple wee things. And I like what you said there about that A, B, C, D, E thing. Like, I've never heard that before. I'll start looking at that. I think I'm probably at B, you know. So I'll
No, I'd say you're a competent barber. C.
right. Well,
Competent
thank you.
barber because a barber can cut hair and still make a shitload of mistakes. Where I think that you've gone past that now.
No, well, I wouldn't say I was confident in all styles.
I think you're competent at doing it. You've done a bit of demonstration work already, but you've got to be a demonstrator like properly like me and Ray have been doing for years. And then obviously you go into educator then where you know, like you look at myself, look at all the boys I've got underneath me, man. Most of the barbers in Cardiff have been trained by me at some point or another. And that's no joke. So, and they'll all tell you that as well. And guys, like I said, I do this for my passion. I'm not doing it because I'm at my own whatever. I do it because I genuinely love doing it, guys. And if people think that's arrogant, that's fine, but I will keep doing what I'm doing because I love this stuff. I love barbering. I love people like you. And I'm just glad that we've got this technology to do stuff like SweeneyTV to get us all connected, guys, because we're all helping each other through this crap. And we shouldn't be in it. Like Ray said earlier, we should be open. But then on the other side of it, you know, we got to do what we're told, haven't we, unfortunately. So,
but unfortunately, nobody likes it. I don't like it. I mean, I'd rather be my work. I mean, I'm going to end up doing my wife in.
Bro, I'm lucky I'm single, bro. Trust me. I'm just doing myself in.
Can I just say, like, try not get caught up with, just watch you don't drink and take too much drugs as well, because addictions, once you cross that line, that invisible line, then that's it. It's another thing that I'm very passionate about. And I just want to dedicate my first time on this to my friend Ryan Anderson, who sadly lost his life about 3 weeks ago now. I've got his funeral on Friday, and I know he was a big part of my life, and again I feel as if I've got something that I need to try and do with barbering, but I could maybe combine them with both. I try and do that anyway, but just watch what you're doing with alcohol and drugs, because it's a dangerous slippery slope, that.
Yeah, I play around with Peroni. I've got a very addicted personality when it comes to drinking the old Peroni, and I go a bit too far sometimes. But as you know, I'm a very energetic guy. I take chelated copper. I go to bed reasonably early, and I'm up at like 4 or 5 meditating most mornings. But yeah, everybody's got these demons which you've got to battle, and we're all battling at certain different levels. And guys, like I said, I just want to thank both of you for coming on. It's been a great show. Ray, big respect to you up in Scotland for what you've done over the past 5-6 years since I've known you, buddy. I've watched you progress and do things outside the barbershop, which is much needed, my friend. And I just want to say salute to you, my brother, and your family. Thank you. And Stephen, I watched your progression. Like I said, you come to my Grandmaster class with me and Rob back last year. It was great. You and Debbie came down all the way from Scotland, and we had a great day with you guys. I know it took you a long time to get home, but eventually you got home. Again, it took me a while to get home as well, mate. I went back to Wales. So, yeah, it was a great day. And again, like I said, I just want to just thank you both for coming on.
Thanks.
So, cheers, guys.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, Steve, I'll get you on another time as well, buddy. Okay.
Right, okay. I'll speak to Josh. And we'll see. I'll get in contact with you to see when we can do it.
All right. And Ray, if you want to get the Scottish Barbers, all the Scottish Barber Association heads together, and we'll do a Zoom in the future if you want, buddy.
I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. See who's up for it and who's not.
Right, guys, I'm going to kick you both. I'm going to kick you both out like that woman did. So, boys.
See you later.
Yeah, mate. So, SweeneyTV, Sean Swiss Sweeney, Sweeney HQ, Raymond and Stephen, 2 Scottish barbers. One been in it a couple of years, and one has been in it too many years. So, great interview, great people, and yeah, dedicated to our brother Alan Stone, who passed away last week. Last Saturday. Really good friend in the barbering industry. I had massive respect for him. Had loads of beers with him over the years. Great guy. You know, can't speak highly of him really, and it's a sad, sad loss. So, Barber brothers, Barber sisters, remember we're all here. We're all one big giant family. So, stay together, stay safe. Diolch yn fawr. SweeneyTV, I am out.